Alright guys, still talking about hinging of the golf club. I talk a lot about this subject because I feel like it's super important in the golf swing. And I had a question from a gentleman, comment about when do you actually hinge in the golf swing? And he felt like that he hit the ball really well hinging, but he did a early hinge in his golf swing. And that is perfectly acceptable. I think that's a great way of doing it. The thing that I would like to stress here, though, if you decide to use like the single plane and you're trying to get to the uppercase Y right there, you can still bypass that uppercase Y. What you do is you hinge early and put it into the turn, and you'll go right up that plane. Okay, early hinge, you'll still be on that plane right there. You will still have that. Same as if I hinge late, it's still on that plane. So where you decide to hinge that club is really a individual thing. And it can be done anywhere in that golf swing. You take somebody like Bryson DeChambeau, he has a late hinge in his golf swing at the very top. Some people may not even get a lot of hinge at the top, and on the transition, that hinge will happen more on the transition on the downswing, and you'll have it there. So it not only in the backswing, you can decide where you want it, but it can actually be put in on the downswing. So this is something you have to be aware of. Now, typically if I hinge the club early, I'm not lifting the club straight up when I do that. You will have a little bit of a lift to the club, but if you notice, it only goes so far. I'm not lifting it this way. If you lift automatically, a lot of times the elbows will get wider, and we don't want that in the golf swing. You want to maintain that structure right there. So you can hinge early. It works really good in the short game, some of these little short shots. If you have a lie that is, say it's in the rough a little bit, you have a little bit of grass in between the ball and the club face, it can give you a little bit steeper angle of attack on the ball. I might pick the club up a little bit more elevated, but I'm going to do it on that plane. And that'll help you extricate that ball out of some bad lies. Or if I have one that's sitting down that I can't be really shallow and sweep it off the turf, I'll do that. So it's really an individual thing, and I thought it was a really great question about when you do hinge, and I should have addressed this earlier. But I'll do one with early hinge, and I'll do one with like I do. We'll do the early hinge. If you notice, I'm going to hinge it early, but I'm not going to lift the club right off the bat. And it's pretty much what you expect. That's a perfect golf shot. Hit it right where I wanted to hit it. No surprises there. We'll do that again, a little early hinge. Right on top of the other ball. So perfect shot there. So yeah, you can hinge early. You can certainly hinge early. Those are the first two swings of the day. Little short swings. I'll do this hinge a little bit later in my swing. Yeah, perfect shot. So that's what happens with channel lock, and if you can hinge that club on the plane and swing it on that plane, you're going to hit really good shots. No doubt about it. So when you hinge it, it's totally up to the individual. You can do it early, you can do it later and hinge. Experiment with it, and I'm sure you'll find a good way of doing it for yourself. So main thing is just don't pick that club up, lift it. You don't want to do that because you're going to get it off that plane. But one more thing you'll notice, if you hinge it on the plane I'm talking about right there, you can only hinge so far. Of course, it depends on your grip. We did a lesson about grip, how more neutral, stronger grip will let you hinge the club more. But that's as far as you're going to be able to lift it with your hands. That's as far as it'll go right there. So just keep that in mind, and we'll catch you next time.